Hi guys. I know that when I was your age, I liked to be read to, and let's be honest, I still love to be read to. And I always think it's nice to have it at a time when it's nice and comfortable, which is why I've said that you might want to save this for like a later time when work's not on your mind and you can just be calm and relaxed. So I'm doing mine in my comfy hoodie, and like hood up, cozy with a book, just the way I like it. I know when I was again your age, my dad used to read to me, and I used to lay there and I used to close my eyes and listen, and he'd say, "Are you listening? What did I just say?" And I'd be able to tell him every word that he just said because I was listening. I just zoned out so I could see the picture of what was in my mind. I'm hoping you guys like this. This is the book The Witches by Roald Dahl. I read it when I've never read it, that's a lie. I used to watch it when I was your age. I loved it, but I've never read the book. And I saw it just now when I was in Asda's and it had a green cover, and I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I just got all excited at the thought of getting to read something to you again and doing something nice like that. So yeah, I'm going to try and only do 10 minutes a time because I know that otherwise I'm going to go on for hours and you're going to be like, "Miss Dallimore, be quiet," like you usually are. Okay, so get yourself somewhere nice and comfy, put some nice comfy clothes on, just, yeah, be nice and cozy. So I said, this book is called The Witches, and the author, so that's the title there, The Witches, and the author is Roald Dahl. Now, you've read lots by Roald Dahl with me because we've done George's Marvellous Medicine, we've done the Enormous Crocodile, was it the Enormous Crocodile? Yeah, we've done The Magic Finger. We were about to do the Twits, but we didn't get to carry on. So yeah, so that's The Witches, and the author, that's the person who wrote it, is Roald Dahl, and it says illustrated by Quentin Blake. That means that Quentin Blake drew all of the pictures. And it says, and then the blurb at the back isn't really a blurb, and it says, "1 child a week is 52 a year, because there are 52 weeks in a year. Squish them and squiggle them and make them disappear." Oh, it's a rhyme. Hope this light's okay. Hope it's not getting in your way. And it says, "Beware. Real witches dress in ordinary clothes and look like ordinary women. But they are not ordinary. They are always plotting and scheming with murderous, bloodthirsty thoughts. And they hate children. The Grand High Witch hates children most of all and plans to make every single one of you disappear. Only one boy and his grandmother can save her. Stop her." Maybe you shouldn't listen to this at bedtime. Maybe it'll scare you. Then it says, Roald Dahl, the man who wrote it, was a spy, ace fighter pilot, chocolate historian, and medical inventor. He was also the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, the BFG, and many more brilliant stories. He remains the world's #1 storyteller. And Quentin Blake has illustrated, drawn pictures for, more than 300 books and was Roald Dahl's favourite illustrator. In 1980, he won the prestigious, that means very, very good, very, very wanted, why can't I read? I'm supposed to be reading and I can't read. Kate Greenaway Medal. In 1999, he became the first ever children's laureate. That's a person who writes poems. For like, officially, he writes the poems for certain occasions. So like the normal poet laureate would write poems for the Queen's birthday, and other events. And in 2013, which is 8 years ago, he was knighted for his services to illustration. Now, it says, introducing boy, grandma, the Grand High Witch, Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins, Bruno Jenkins, and Mr. Stringer. Oh, I do love a good chapter book with the chapters. I'll try and remember if there are any pictures. There are a couple of pictures. If there are pictures, I'll show you. Right, Oh, you shouldn't really do this to a book, but I always do. A Note About Witches. It's chapter 1. It means this book is separated into parts, and the parts are called chapters. And this chapter, this part of the book is called A Note About Witches. In fairy tales, witches always wear silly black hats and black cloaks, and they ride on broomsticks. But this is not a fairy tale. This is about real witches. The most important thing you should know about real witches is this. Listen very carefully. Never forget what is coming next. Real witches dress in ordinary clothes and look very much like ordinary women. Not men, apparently. They live in ordinary houses. Ordinary means normal, by the way. And they work in ordinary jobs. Ordinary jobs, normal jobs. I guess policemen, firemen, shop workers, builders. I don't know. Teachers? Am I normal? I don't know. Probably not. That is why they are so hard to catch. A real witch hates children with a red hot, sizzling hatred that is more sizzling and red hot than any hatred you could possibly imagine. A real witch spends all her time plotting to get rid of the children in her particular territory. Territory is an area, so in her area she's trying to get rid of all the children. And she spends all her time planning how to do it. Her passion is love, her passion is to do away with them, one by one. It is all she thinks about the whole day long, even if she's working as a cashier in a supermarket, so taking the money and doing the beep, beep, beep in the supermarket. Or typing letters for a business person, or driving around in a fancy car. And she could be doing any of these things. Her mind will always be plotting and scheming and churning and burning and whizzing and fizzing with murderous, bloodthirsty thoughts. Which child, she says to herself all day long. Exactly which child shall I choose for my next squelching? A real witch gets the same pleasure, that means happiness, from squelching children as you get from eating a plateful of strawberries and thick cream. Oh, that's a lot of pleasure. That's a lot of pleasure, a lot of happiness I'd get from that. She reckons on doing away with one child a week. Anything less than that, and she becomes grumpy. One child a week is 52 a year. Squish them and squiggle them and make them disappear. That is the motto of all witches. A motto is a saying. Like Mr. Allen always says, positive thoughts materialise. Or sneaky sneakersons. That's sort of like my motto. Sort of. So the motto of all witches is one child a week is 52 a year. Squish them and squiggle them and make them disappear. Very carefully, a victim is chosen, and then the witch stalks the wretched child like a hunter stalking a little bird in a forest. Stalking means following, and look, here's the picture. You've got a little girl there, just look, innocently doing her reading. And then you've got a hiding witch in the bushes, waiting for her. She treads softly. She moves quietly. She gets closer and closer. Then, at last, when everything is ready, she swoops. Sparks fly. Flames leap. Oil boils. Rats howl. Skin shrivels. And the child disappears. Forever. I added the forever. I should be an author. A witch, you must understand, does not knock children on the head. No, she doesn't. That's not how she does it. She doesn't go bonk on the head. Or stick knives into them. Or shoot them with a pistol. No. People who do those things, they get caught by the police because they're too obvious. A witch never gets caught. Don't forget that she has magic in her fingers and devilry dancing in her blood. She can make stones jump about like frogs, and she can make tongues of flames go flickering across the surface of water. These magic powers are very frightening. Luckily, there are not a great number of real witches in the world today, but there are still quite enough to make you nervous, scared. In England, there are probably about 100 of them altogether. Now, you can all count to 100, so you should know how many that is. So that's like having all of Gruffalo, all of Super Tato, all of Paddington and the teachers all being witches. And that's all of them in the whole of England. Some countries have more, others not quite so many. No country in the world is completely free of witches, so they are in every country. A witch is always a woman. Sorry, boys, we have our powers. But then at least you're not going around trying to snuff off children, are you? I do not wish to speak badly about women. Most women are lovely, but the fact remains that all witches are women. There is no such thing as a male witch. On the other hand, a ghoul is always a male. So indeed it is Barghest. Both are dangerous. I couldn't tell you what Barghest means. Barghest. I can read it. Barghest. Barghest. Maybe you could look it up for me. Both are dangerous, but neither of them is half as dangerous as a real witch. Oh, a Barghest is a type of ghost or something. I only know that because it says both are dangerous, which means a ghoul and a Barghest are both dangerous, which makes me think, using my inference skills, because I've read, it makes me think, if a ghoul is dangerous and it says so indeed is a Barghest, then they must both be some sort of supernatural creature. We'll see if I'm right maybe later. But neither of them is half as dangerous as a real witch. As far as children are concerned, a real witch is easily the most dangerous of all the living creatures on earth. But what makes her doubly dangerous, that means twice as dangerous, 2 times more dangerous than we would think, is the fact that she doesn't look dangerous. Even when you know all the secrets, you will hear about those in a minute. You can still never quite be sure whether it is a witch you are gazing at or just a kind lady. If a tiger were able to make himself look like a large dog with a waggy tail, you would probably go up and pat him on the head. It's true, you would. And that would be the end of you. Because, you know, the tiger would then go and eat you. Because he's disguised as a dog with a waggly tail looking all happy. But actually he's a tiger. So it's the same with witches. They all look like nice ladies. Kindly examine the picture below. Which is the lady and which is the witch? That is a difficult question, but is one that every child must try to answer. Okay, so you've got to look. You've got to look at these 2 pictures and you've got to decide which is the witch and which is the lady. I think that this one is the witch because she's wearing black clothes or dark clothes, and I think witches are dark. See how I used my sentence stem and I justified my answer with because? Yes. Although, in fact, actually, I'm going to stick with that. Also, I think this one is the witch because she has a pointy nose. Who knows? Nose knows. Let's have a look, see what it says. Oh yeah, we're almost at the end of the chapter. For all you know, a witch might be living next door to you right now. Or she might be the woman with the bright eyes who sat... Have I missed a bit? No. Or she might be the woman with the bright eyes sat opposite you on the bus this morning. She might be the lady with the dazzling smile who offered you a sweet from a white paper bag on the street before lunch. She might even, and this will make you jump, she might be your lovely school teacher who is reading these words to you at this very moment. How do they know? Look carefully at that teacher. No, I like this book. Perhaps she is smiling at the absurdity of such a silly suggestion. Don't let that put you off. It could be a part of her cleverness, and we all know Miss Dallimore is very clever. I am not, of course, telling you for 1 second that your teacher is actually a witch. I'd be quite happy if I were a witch. It'd get me into Hogwarts, wouldn't it? All I'm saying is that she might be one. It is most unlikely, but, and here comes the big but, it is not impossible. Oh, if only there were a way of telling for sure whether a woman was a witch or not. Then we could all round them up and put them in a meat grinder. Ooh, that's something that chops up meat so it's like mincemeat. You know, like what you get in your lasagna and your shepherd's pie. Put me, in a meat grinder. Ooh. I'm not a witch, it's fine. Unhappily, there is no such way. But there are a number of little signals you can look for. Little quirky habits. Quirky means a little bit strange. I've been described as quirky many times. I don't know if you understand why. And all witches have in common. If you know about these, if you remember them, then you might just possibly manage to escape from being squelched before you are very much older. And that, my friends, my lovely little year ones, not little, my lovely, fantastic year ones, is the end of the chapter. And therefore it is the end of today's reading. Tomorrow or the next time I read to you, the chapter is called My Grandmother. How exciting. Right. I hope that's either like scared you silly or you've enjoyed that. And I hope you enjoyed it, really. Bye guys.